Hi, I'm Pharaoh, and today we are going to dig into something that I did read about when we first had the Remnants update, which is 6 months ago now, but I didn't actually do anything about it. I kept meaning to go and have a look, never got around to it, and I thought I'd probably do it in a stream. And again, I mean, other things were what going on, and then summer came, and then who knows what happened. But if you look at the Remnants update, and we go all the way down past the patch notes, sorry, past the release notes, scroll down and down. They're always really long, these release notes. Some of them are very long. If we get right to the bottom, takes a while. I'm deliberately not going directly there just to demonstrate how long these notes can be sometimes. By the time we get to the bottom of these, we often don't really have the stamina to read the patch notes, but they always have these patch notes at the bottom. Now, some of these patch notes just reiterate what was above, and some of them actually have extra information. Now, if I do a quick search on this page for stone, no, I'm not doing it on the page, hang on. And we go down to the... Here we have the note in question that I'm going to be looking at today. Added a number.
Says,
Hi there,
I
Ignition.
never read them, 'cause I know you'll do it on stream.
So here we have added a number of visual variations for floating stone guardians. So we know that when you kind of find those little stones, then they explode and the guardians come and get you. And although it's quite interesting, they seem to be timed so that new players, if they start on a system with them, they don't come. That's a bit interesting. Or maybe they're broken. Maybe this will be a very short exploration. We'll just go and we'll open one and nothing will happen. Either way, they supposedly added a visual variation for floating stones, and I'd like to see what that visual variation is. I've never investigated, and I'm curious. So let's get into the game and have a look. I've also started a poll, which I'll leave running for a while, and I'll maybe explain the context of the poll, i.e. what we've just been discussing about the patch notes right at the bottom of the release notes, because I'm not sure how many people actually read them or not. I made two versions of this poll, and then I had one lost, so I had to quickly do one. And one of them was, no, I don't read them unless something is coming up that I'm looking for a fix for. And the other one I put in was, no, I never spoil myself. So some people just don't want to read these things. They just want to dive in and see what happens. But okay, let's go to... I'm thinking about going into the permadeath or my Amiga Plus save. See, my Amiga Plus save would work because that was the one where I was searching for the kind of stone stuff. Oh, not stone stuff. Where I was searching for the relics. So it's the most appropriate. The only problem with this one is I've got to remember not to go back to my freighter because it's broken at the moment. Oh, we've still got the green one.
Option 4. No, I never read them, 'cause I know Pharaoh will dissect them.
Well, I didn't dissect this. Well, I might have mentioned it in passing at one point, but we didn't dissect it in this way before. So first things first, we need to go to systems where there are stone guardians. And what I usually like to do when I'm streaming and I am going to a new thing that I'm looking for, what I like to do is jump through a black hole. So if we find anything interesting, then I can just share the results, and it's a kind of a virgin area of space. And let's see if we can get a bit further. Let's go for that one. So we're exploring together, as it were, in that if I find something interesting, I can just share the glyphs. I'm probably not going to claim anything. In fact, I made a save the other day because I was messing around with the newer update of the save editor, which now has really nice controls over base building, and you can actually individually move parts around. You can move your bases around in the order. So I was messing around with that. Okay, well, we've got a dreadnought here, but we don't really want to do that, so I'm going to land.
Enemy missile inbound.
If I reload, then it should go away. Just go straight out, I guess. We'll look for what we've got. I can use my freighter, but I just can't teleport. Oh, there's still a fight. Alright, let's see if we can escape it by going a long way away. Going a long way away now. Let's stay on target. Thing is, you don't want to get shot by the pirates because that stops you getting away. Nope, still local enemy disruption. Alright, that's restarted the clock, annoyingly. Should do us. So I'm just going to go to any old system and we're just going to look for bones. And now I have no idea what variation they've added. So what I'll do, I'll go to a few and I'll take photographs. Not there. Not there. There's one behind that second one. Else here? Nope. Just quickly look in the discoveries. Nope, this is the fort. So, no emoji again over the weekend, which does make me think won't be getting anything at all this week. People are starting to say, oh, maybe we won't see an emoji, maybe it will just get dropped on Wednesday regardless. I don't see that. This feels like added extra stuff, not reduced marketing, but added marketing.
Axel Ignition says, a lot of folks are asking about it on forums and Discord channels. Asking, what happened?
Yeah, because we've not got anything yet, but I don't think we'll get anything until an emoji drops. Which would mean the first week of September now. Unless an emoji was suddenly dropped today. Which would be unusual, but not impossible. Right, so I've landed here. I could have just scanned it, but I don't see anything here either. Okay, so the first one came up. Nothing. I should really look for 6 planet or 6 planetary body systems. I was just quite keen to get out of that system with the fight going on. Right, so let's just select systems one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6.
Axel Ignition says, it's become a game of if not this Monday, then next. If not next, the next.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really say, isn't it? We can only go by what we get. And we've got nothing. Right, because there's 6 here, I'm just going to use my freighter. And hope it doesn't crash. As I say, I've mainly been getting crashing if I teleport to my freighter. And it's specifically in this save only. So the reason I'm choosing this save is because this is the save that has all of the bone collections in it.
Axel Ignition says, this, coming Sunday, is the physical meetup at the Drummond pub in Guildford.
It is. It is indeed. Guildford, it doesn't have an I in it. But which is why she pronounced it weirdly. But yes, it is the meetup this weekend. Unfortunately, as I suspected, I am doing something else this weekend. Being a bank holiday weekend and all. Right, so let's scan the planets. So we're looking for bones. Still not finding any. Nope. I'm not going to use my freighter to warp because I've had it crash for that as well. I did send this save to Hello Games as a bug report, so I'm not going to start messing around with it just in case they put in the patch notes at some point, fix problems with or fix crashes teleporting to freighters, and then I'll know that they've at least looked at either my issue or people's issues similar to mine. And then I'll test again because I don't really want to change anything. But if they haven't in the next patch, then I will. Oh, I didn't check numbers for 6. Then I will just start deleting things and see if it works. Maybe spread those bones out a bit. Because I have a feeling it's something to do with what's it called in the patch notes? It's in the game itself. It's called base complexity, which isn't actually the number of parts. It's how close together parts will render, and if it goes over a certain complexity, it can cause issues. I could just try knocking that down, I suppose. Nope. Nope. There's quite a lot in that one, but no. Nope. I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alphas195 says,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey Pharaoh of Euclid.
Hi, Alphas. Good to see you.
Alphas195 says, Evening Axon Ignition. Axon Ignition says, Good evening Alphas195.
I don't know if there's a way I can stop the ats across people that I've made VIPs. Because the VIP list is really handy, because if you know people are going to be around, you can just add them to that list. So then I don't have to make a much more complicated rule to allow them to speak. But the negative is that I was trying to get it so that if you speak to each other, it doesn't necessarily say anything out loud, but I don't seem to be able to do it with VIPs.
Alphas195 says, VIPs.
It really loves extra O's, doesn't it? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Some very long grass here. Maybe it's not quite as long. Maybe I was in a dip. Right, so let's see if we can find some stones on this planet.
Ignition says, Alphas195 we might get paid too.
I didn't say you were that important. I can soon take you off the guest list. I mean, for transparency purposes, a minor stream like this will probably make 15 to 20 pence on the YouTube algorithm. I don't really do it for that. Clearly I don't do that for the money. So there's no stones here. So let's look further. There's one. I presume the variation is going to be per planet, but we will try a couple on on the same planet to start with. Guardians awaken. Right, so that, if we quickly take a photo.
I've only ever found one and I was happy.
So if we're looking for variations, this seems pretty much a very pure kind of nothing really oh, they do hurt though. Nothing that exceptional, but I mean it's got If you excuse the pun, it's got a chip on its shoulder. It's got one rock on one shoulder and not on the other. So I wonder if it's like subtle variations.
Alphas195 says, oh wait, you mean these guardians?
Yeah.
I thought you meant those colossal statues.
Well, they're not floating, are they? So I presume I haven't looked for them, but I presume it's these. Actually, maybe I should just shoot this. Also, there might be some variation in that last bit that comes floating out at you, but I doubt that would be a variation. Right, so next we'll see if we can find another one and see if they're the same on the planet. Obviously, we also get the mech ones. There's another one. I do like the iron vulture we made. I'm wondering how we made an iron vulture like this. We used the parts from iron vultures, like going in and out of an expedition and getting multiple parts, all of the parts, and then we constructed it in the ship construction thing. Yeah, so that looks the same on this planet. Unless the base is slightly different. I don't think the base is different. Oh, it's posed nicely there for a... Let's get the sun in the sky. He's got green. I didn't notice the green before because he was in the dark, obviously. And there was another one just over here. There. Oh, he looks the same too. They're very nicely made. I would like to see them integrated into the game better. Like that they have some kind of purpose or lore. We see them more often. Or some kind of mission that involves them. Oh, I didn't actually scan. Let's go to the top of a nearby mountain and scan. We can call this a mountain. I was trying to work out the difference today between the largest planets in No Man's Sky and the planet that they're promising in Light No Fire. Because obviously they're talking about an Earth-sized planet in Light No Fire. And we don't have Earth-sized planets in No Man's Sky. The biggest we have are giants. So if you imagine a lush giant, that would be the largest Earth-like planet we see in the game. So I was doing a little bit of digging around as to how big they are. I'll get my details in a minute because it's quite interesting. If they're three the same, I'm going to assume that they're all the same. It's not the best number of samples, but how long do we want to do this for? Where is it? There it is. We've got the mech. pretty sure there's no variation in the mech, but we will just quickly take a picture. Have some meat somewhere in this. Always carry meat.
195 says, it has a kinda hood. Never noticed that before.
Kind of hood. We'll look at the pictures in a bit once we've collected a few. It has that kind of thing over. It's very similar to the Colossal Guardians that we were mentioning earlier, or Ignition was mentioning earlier. I want to find 3 lots of the floating ones. So let's one more. Hope we don't get the mech again. Don't know if mech is the right word. It's kind of a statue. So I know there's a mod that you can turn your mech into that model. That's a very interesting colour, isn't it? It's a bit garish. Green into orange into like lime green into yellow. Choking humidity. So I think it's pretty standard weather. I'm not very good with my weathers. I always have to consult a list to double check if it's clear or not, which I'm not going to do right now. Yeah, so maybe we'll make that a discussion point. I'll pull up the details.
5 says, choking humidity should have storms.
Cool. So it's the middle one. Yeah, it's a nice planet. If you like the garish colour scheme, then I will give the glyphs out, because that was the whole point of coming to a virgin area. If I can find where I put it. There we are. So I'm really pleased because I managed to get my Stream Deck to send keys properly to the game, which I've never managed to do before. I've tried multiple methods, and then the other day it suddenly was explained to me by AI, of all things. Yeah, that's the same. Ow. Let's just shoot him because he's... Actually, we'll just quickly analyse him.
Remember to like, subscribe, comment, or most importantly chat.
So yeah, he's got the same green moss on his stones at the top. Kind of got a little bit of, what would you call that, teal coloured stuff on his stones on the arms, and blue crystals, and a circular spiked base, and a cracked stone on the back, on the, not back, on the
Axon Ignition says,
right.
Ari got it right, till now, said that industry sources say September for Cosmos. It'd be funny if emoji drops today. Alphas195 says, so what happens if you activate them and then take off in your ship?
Theoretically, they follow you for a bit. Let's see if... Let's do it. I mean, that's how they were working before. So if I take off here... And they might have changed it now. But they were a little bit like weather. You know, that kind of floating weather. In that they would persist. If I don't go too far sometimes. They used to follow us. It doesn't look like it's following me now, though. So maybe it doesn't happen anymore. Maybe that was a bug. That they were quite so persistent. I'm going to do one more because I wasn't sure about those shoulders, those round shoulders. Then I'll maybe look at each of the pictures and see.
Alphas195 says, would have been interesting if it caused a Sentinel wanted level to pop up XD.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the right thing though. I mean, if they integrated these into the lore, then we could have an equivalent, I suppose. See, that's got a bit of variation, but I think this has always had variation. But that was kind of the electric one. Should have taken a picture, really. So I wonder if the reason this was in the patch notes, apart from it not being the part of the theme for Remnant, is that they were supposed to be variations and they just either hadn't put them in or they weren't showing up as a variation. I heard the noise as I was finishing there. It's almost as if that was the point at which the Stone Guardians would have stopped chasing me, but I'd shot them, so I'm not sure. One more here. Presuming we don't get the mech-like one. Here's the storm that you predicted. Alphas. Oh, that's going to be another mech. So we knock that casing off. Maybe they're always the same, I don't know. We knock the arm off as well. It kind of reveals a bit. We knock the leg casing off. Doesn't look like it. I think they're all the same. Still, I want one more variation of the... I'm not going to... Let me just quickly look at my photos. I won't pull them up on screen unless there's a clear difference. So... Oh, that's not it's working now. No, they're all the same. Okay, so different planet then. So we've seen 3 and they all do look the same. A different system entirely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a moon. The game seems a bit louder to me today. Is it sounding louder to you guys? I guess it depends if you have a standard loudness that you would watch things on.
Axon Ignition says, yes, you are louder today, which is nice.
I'm louder. Okay, that's fine then. I'm probably even slightly louder because I'm probably slightly closer to the microphone. I'm also noticing that there's a very slight gap here. I'm getting a different green screen solution very shortly, hopefully in the post today or tomorrow. It might make it a little bit easier for me to position my camera. Ancient bones. And those don't. So just that one. Tipper, let's put it on the mark. When I say green screen solution, I'm just getting a large piece of felt I can hang behind me because all the other solutions just seem overkill. And I'm currently using a large piece of felt that I hang behind me, but it's not quite big enough. But it works perfectly, so why do I need anything?
Forget the green screens. Stop spending money.
I'm not spending money.
Wear a green cap. 2. Wear a green t-shirt. Problem solved.
Yeah, I could do that as well, but that would be very odd. I'm really not spending much money. I refuse to spend, like some of them are like 150 quid for things that are far too big for my setup. All sorts of craziness. Some of them have got like good reviews until you delve down into the reviews and then you see actually this was a bit flimsy, or it broke, or they didn't replace it when this happened, or there's zero customer service. There's all sorts of things, typical reviews when you dig into reviews on Amazon. So I thought, what can go wrong with a large piece of felt that I just hang up behind me? Nothing really. So we're going with that. That is my solution. So that costs about £14.50 or something. And then I can always buy a frame later if it gets unwieldy. Oh, he's a bit different. He's got different spikes on him. He doesn't seem to have the round shoulders. I'll let him move around a bit because sometimes they're only apparent when they move around a bit. Possibly a similar base, but I don't think it's identical. But this spike on his shoulder is different. The green moss looks the same. I think I've caught him in movement, so he's a little bit blurry.
Axel Ignition says, I got another solution. From your local fancy dress store, get the Robin Hood costume.
Oh, I've got a Robin Hood hat somewhere. I mean, when I say I mean my wife was using one in something that we do over Christmas. So yeah, I've got a Robin Hood hat. I don't think that's a good idea though. Was the other one also blue? Let me just look at the images. That kind of teal colour. Yeah, the electric kind of tealy blue colour is the same. But yeah, there's clearly a difference on the right shoulder there, or the its left shoulder.
Alphas195 says, it's nice to see these variations. I haven't messed with the relic stones after the expedition. Axel Ignition.
No, I haven't.
For the folks watching at home, Pharaoh of Euclid just promised to wear a Robin Hood hat the day Cosmos drops.
Well, I tell you what, if it's not a space themed advert, if it's not a space themed update, and the galaxy map doesn't have any changes, I will wear a Robin hat not costume, hat. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be a space themed one, and I'm going out there a little bit on a limb saying that there will be a overhaul to the galaxy map, so that will be the bet. I'll have to dig it out and put it beside me so that when we find out.
Ignition says, Alphas is the witness.
Yeah, so it looks like they're the same on each planet. So that's two variations we've seen. Right, so this planet is mild rain. So this is clearly, I'm pretty sure mild rain has to be clear weather, doesn't it? I don't know if
Alphas195 says, no storms.
That's what I thought. So if you really like the look of this brown, I don't know why you would. I mean, it's got some nice purple flowers, but if you like the look of this brown with sprinkled green grass, then
Alphas195 says,
here are the glyphs.
humid, beautiful, clear, won't have storms.
Not sure if I like this planet, but the I suppose the water's colour's quite nice. The other one seemed to have reddish orangey water, whereas this, it's actually difficult to say. Maybe it's murky. Let's go out and have a look. Yeah, it's got blue water. Slightly dark blue water, I suppose. Okay, next system. Not enough planets. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting the rings if you're not sure what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings, and then I look very carefully to see if any of the planets that are orbiting have moons, which this one doesn't, but 5 is
Grass, blue
enough.
skies, waters, bloomy likes.
So just a reminder, I've got a poll running. Do you read? Let me just explain it again. So I'll pull back up my browser. In the patch notes, when you're looking through like the brand new update patch notes, and you get to the bottom, do you bother reading these, the actual patch notes? Because these are kind of release notes. And then right at the bottom we have patch notes, which are things that they're patched. And they do include the stuff above. But just vote whether you do or not, whether you actually read all of these. Because I think very few people do. And that's where this particular thing, the variation of the stones, was hidden away. So that's what the poll's about, if you're not sure. Because I do read them, and I did notice this update. I just never got round to checking to see if anything interesting came out of it. This particular thing.
195 says, I do, but in my own time. I quickly go through the highlights first.
Yeah, I mean, I do that as well. I mean, I'm usually streaming when a patch drops, because we usually can tell from the gib or the cowboy or whatever that the patch is about to drop. So I'm usually streaming at the time. So I'm not going to start reading out every single patch, but I do go back and look at them later. Or I'll just get my phone or my computer to read them out for me. And I just listen while I'm playing with the patch, if the patch is really fun. Nope. Not enough in that one. Or that one. There was 4, I think, there. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 5, 6, because there's a moon. So if you can just see, just coming out from behind the grey.
95 says, there's a small area in the top left corner of the face cam inset that the green screen is not working for.
Yeah, I know. I did point that out a little while ago.
195 says, I was wondering for a while what it was.
That was why I was talking about the green screen, because I was saying, yeah, up here. Up here. And I could theoretically slightly move my camera away from it, but I think it would probably catch the other side.
Ships approaching.
That might get it. Yeah, yeah, I think that's got it. But I want to be able to go back to having my camera follow me, because that's why I bought this camera. And so I want a wider one.
That worked.
Enemy missile inbound.
We've got another dreadnought. Let's get rid of this one, shall we? It took me just as long to get away from the last one as it would be to just destroy it. So, what weapons have I got on this ship? What's the best thing about this one is we can just sit here and wait. We can just line everything up. Don't even have to go down the corridor that much. Interesting little glitch there.
Enemy missile inbound.
And again, I think it's because I'm accidentally pressing the switch key, switch between views key on my controller. Hull seems to be a bit stronger than usual. Maybe I'm just not getting it in the... Oh, I haven't got the last one, that's why. There we go. Right, now that's out of the way.
Style ships defeated. Received.
I really should have just chosen a save where I knew my freighter was working. I could have just used my freighter, but...
Alphas195 says, did I mention this to you? I'm not sure, but someone figured out how to add a base inside a space station. Alphas195 says,
People have been doing it for a while.
Remnant starter system.
I mean, there are ways of doing it on PC anyway, because you can turn off restrictions. I know how I would do it. I'm not going to tell people how to do it, but I know how I would do it. And it would be to build a base elsewhere and then stretch it.
195 says, I think they did via the Corvette build glitch.
Possibly.
Alphas195 says, cause if you teleport to the base you appear at a Corvette landing pad.
Not quite sure what you mean by that. One, two, three, four, five, six.
Pharaoh Fuclid says,
Oh, I've still got the link, the class link.
class challenge type
I
class.
should probably take that off now while we're not doing the class. Let me just see if I can do that quickly while we're in the stream. Shouldn't be difficult. Might work. Let's have a look. I mean, I could leave it there, but it's not very relevant to this stream. Global settings. Commands. It's not a command though, is it? Can leave the command there. No. As normal, there's just so many options in this program that I can't spot it, so we'll leave it. Oh, I just noticed the glyphs are all Eisentum. It would have said on each of the glyphs because it would have been listed underneath the way that I show it. But I've only just noticed they're all Eisentum. So you have to be in the Eisentum galaxy. think at least one of the featured bases is in Islington though, so it's not too difficult I think to get to. You see bones everywhere, and I'm not seeing them very commonly at all. Check my hyperdrive. No, it's 80%. That's fine. Well, it's taken a little bit longer than I thought it might, so it might be a longer stream. I thought this might be a shorter stream. 1, 2,
Alphas
3,
195
4, 5,
says,
6.
that's a lot of pirate grease.
Oh, I don't know what's in my inventory on this save.
Alphas 195 says, for a settlement.
Who knows? I haven't played this save for so long. I've got no idea what I was up to. But this is that. This is the save I take into expeditions, so it also tends to just accumulate stuff from expeditions. Because the whole point of this save is mainly just to kind of min-max through playing expeditions. And new content. So no. There's something. So that one. Lost green. So it's going to be a mega exotic. At least we're getting a bit of planet variety now. But they have mostly been lush, haven't they? I mean, this is a type of lush. A mega exotic is kind of a type of lush. We'll see what it's like when we get there. It's kind of a mixed biome sometimes. That question that I was asking out loud and then stopped asking out loud, I'm not sure if I know what it was at all. I've been kind of trying to remember. I have one question that I think I might ask in this stream, because we've just passed the hour mark, so I probably will, or we're just coming up to the hour mark of actual streaming. So I probably will pause in a short while and have a quick discussion about something. So I have got something that I've got in mind, and it might be what I was thinking, but I'm not 100% sure if it was. It just went straight out of my mind as soon as I said I should write it down. Then I carried on doing something. I didn't write it down, and it just went. See why we call these places mega exotics, because they've got this mega fauna, and not fauna, flora, and mega minerals. great big things. Some of them sometimes very occasionally are scannable, but these aren't. If you find the scannable ones, then you can find some of the tallest plants in the game. But they're quite rare. Right, so let's look around. That ain't it. Not seeing anything here. It was supposed to be, yeah, ancient bones. All right, we'll land somewhere else. I once landed on a lifeless planet with these kinds of things on, and it was so hugely crowded. This was in Calypso, so I think the stuff in Calypso can be a bit weird sometimes. It was so hugely crowded with these kind of strange shaped things that you could hardly run along the surface. It was just like a maze of huge objects on the whole planet. See, I'm seeing fossils, so we should see some, but we're not seeing any at the moment. This is where you might use a Corvette and just fly along looking. In fact, if we don't spot it the next time I land, maybe I'll call a Corvette in. There's one. What I'm talking about, we were saying the other day about small things we'd like to see change in the game. Maybe it wouldn't be that small a thing, but I do wonder what I would do if they had HOTAS controls. Whether I would actually try it out. I mean, I'd probably borrow a HOTAS to start with and see if it's any good. They look the same as the ones... Let's kill this one so we don't have two running around after us. Yeah, they look the same as the ones in the last system. So far we've only seen what I would think would be 2 variations, which suggests there aren't that many variations if we're already seeing duplicates.
Gravnaut says, hello everybody.
Hi Gravnaut, good to see you. I mean, we're just rolling dice, so we might have just rolled the same one, no matter how many, but...
Alphas195 says, hi Gravnaut.
Okay, so there are 2 here. So that was the lost green, so we want to go to this one. We'll see if they are the same in each system in this one.
Axon Ignition says, good morning Grav.
That's a nicer looking planet. Temperate. Did we have the choking humidity? I think it looks like it's got a blue sky. sometimes the atmosphere will change as you get closer. Because the game doesn't know what's there until it gets there, really. It looks like a teal sky. Maybe it's blue. It's got the large stump trees on it. Quite nice. Yeah, it's quite a nice planet. Quite nice vegetation. So again, for those that are interested, it's Eisentum, and those are the glyphs. I'm not going to claim anything from this save. I'm just going to revert to an old save. So if anybody wants to come and claim any of these planets, you won't find discovered by Pharaoh on them, unless I completely forget before the end of the stream. But if that's the case, I apologise ahead of time. Oh, I should have looked around. But I try not to. I try to just go back to my older save. Because I make a save before I start. And I copy it, and then I revert back. So it's almost as if I've never been here at all. There's one. It's quite close. Let's just go and have a look. Definitely a nice looking tree. Yeah, so I've been watching, as I often do, exactly the same as the other planet. As I often do, I've been watching people start the game afresh. And occasionally you will get people that they start off or very early on come across... Is that it? Yeah, it hit me. Very early on come across these. Doesn't look like that's actually there. I think that's a bit of a glitch. Yep. So yeah, so they'll come across these when they've just started the game, and they'll click on the Vigilant Stone and nothing will happen. And I think that's actually designed that way so that newer players don't suddenly get attacked by things they can't cope with. I can just imagine when you've got like just a mining beam without any updates. You've got no weapon at all because it's your starter planet or your second system. And you think, oh, what's this Vigilant Stone? And then just start getting hit by some of the hardest hitting creatures in the game. I mean, they're not a challenge once you've played the game for a while and you've got shields, etc. But they do still hit hard. Cool if they were used for something, these Vigilant Stones. Then we'd be forced to come and get them.
Alphas195 says, weapons apart, if you don't have shields, these things will shed you on no time.
Absolutely. I mean, the shields, I mean, these really could kill you. And if you're starting player with 3 hit points. And what have I got there? Is it 9 maximum? Yeah, 9.
Alphas195 says, I meant shred.
Yeah, I gathered. He meant shred. Right, so they seem to be both the same in the same system. Makes me wonder if they're region specific. I'm not sure what the name of that planet was, the last one. Let's go a little bit further out. Let's jump over to, let's make sure this is a different region. Asquest sector. Yeah, it does look like it because we're going across a void. And usually if you go left and right, it's quicker to go to different regions. As you can see here, we're in an even different one now. Right, so let's just start looking here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that'll do. It would be just my luck that it's keyed to how many planets there are in a system. So just by going to 6-star planet systems, I'm messing myself up. Pull in my freighter. Not a big fan of dreadnought freighters as player freighters. But so many people asked for them, I can understand why they gave them to us. Nope. Nope. Yes. No. 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 Just the one. High energy planet. With contaminated puzzles, so that's probably clear. You can usually tell roughly by the description whether the weather's going to be good or not. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm only going by the description. Another nice planet. I quite like this one. There's one. This is quite a craggy planet. Probably as craggy as you can get without being in a purple system. So that's the second type we saw. Too many weapons in this. So far we've seen 2 types. yet another region. Oh, before I actually jump, do you reckon I should show the glyphs for that last planet? It was interesting, but it wasn't a lush or anything. So I'm going to hold here, and then if anybody says yes, then I'll go back. Actually, I could just mark it, I suppose, and set waypoint, and then I could just show the space glyphs, which will be the same theoretically because I just took off. So again, Eisenton. See, the custom waypoints don't work very well. Why isn't it giving me a route? It's right there. I do think that this is one of the reasons I think they might be overhauling the galaxy map, because they just don't fix these things. Well, they do, and then they stop working again. They do minimal work on the galaxy map, and they have done for about a year or two now. The last thing that changed in the galaxy map was one extra colorblind setting. I'm not even sure how long ago that was. Probably about a year ago, maybe longer. No. Yes. No. 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 So just that one. Icy blasts. That sounds like standard weather. So it's storms, but not many. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Right, now is it up or down? Up. Aha. Right, so we'll just go to this one, then we'll have a discussion point. At this stage, I'm only looking at one variety per planet because they do seem to be the same in the entire system. So there's only any real need to find one floating thing. Seeing any here. Oh, maybe no. It looks like a treeless, mega exotic mixed frozen planet. That's an unusual combination. Let's go to the sunny side. Water. It's not technically a mega exotic, but these are mega flora. Are they scannable? Nope. These can look really interesting in storms, these kinds of planets. They can look, because the storm will bring a slightly harsher filter. It's also got little guys, little proto-gek. So while I remember, I'll give the glyphs. Again, Isentum. There's one. Yeah, so when the storm starts to come in, often you get like a slightly more reality filter on frozen planets, and so they can look really different. It gives it less of a cartoon feel sometimes. I mean, I can't be sure until it happens here, but I've noticed it on these kinds of planets before. Right, so that one wasn't helping us. Quite sparse here.
Technology. Recharge.
Let's go towards the rainbow. Nice double rainbow. Actually, while we're here, I'm just going to point out a bug that people have noticed. Where is it? I just saw it a minute ago. There's a grub lying on the ground. Right, if we pop that, for a start, they're not disappearing. There's a few things like that aren't disappearing. But if we pop it, too close because he'll do his jump on me. Nice colour. We don't get the reward. We're supposed to get a particular... He's getting aggressive now. Look, I bet he hurts as well. Ouch. Yeah, we're supposed to get a reward from that, and it's one of the rewards that we can hand in to a guild. But we just don't anymore. It's broken. can't remember what the reward is now, but it's a grub-related thing. If anybody can remember what it's actually called, feel free to shout out in the notes, in the comments. Currently, that's the only incentive to actually pop those, really, is that the guilds want the rewards. Yep, same again. We've still only seen 2 variations. Mobcartour, and we are now coming into the bin there. Rexley Void. Let's go somewhere with slightly less and just take the chance, just in case it is 6 planet systems all have the same type. We'll jump into 2 or 3 and see. Handy. Empty planet as well. Will the bones even spawn on an empty planet? I presume they will.
Axon Ignition says, "Hope I didn't miss anything, just finished dinner."
Well, so far, I would say you haven't, because we haven't actually found a different thing since that second one. In fact, every single floating floating stone guardian has been the same as the second one we discovered since that then. So, see, this is the same as well. We've still only seen 2 variations. And I've been going to different regions, I've been going to different number of planets. Right, let's break it up with a bit of chat. So let's pop that. And one of the things I've been thinking is the way that corvettes, in fact, let's pull a corvette up. The way that the corvettes are very, very often available.
Oh yeah, discussion time. I didn't miss anything.
Absolutely. Let's pull a corvette up. One of the things I find a bit odd is that the way that corvettes are instantly available. So currently we can build something like this without actually really developing in the game at all. We can build it within the first couple of hours of the game almost, if you know what you're doing. In fact, in my abandoned mode, that's the first thing I did. I just started building one of these, and they are such game-changing technology. So, for instance, one of the reasons they're such game-changing technology is this way that we can leave it on maintain current flight path and scan for things that we are looking for, like, for instance, these vigilant stones. Oops, I'm not marking it. I think I'm hitting another button. There we go. And then we could just stop and go and get that, and then, or we could just carry on and look for something else. So, for instance, it's very easy to find the 3-star things, so we can find runaway mold very quickly. This is a very, very powerful tool to have very early on. But it makes me wonder if it is something that is worth curtailing, or whether they should just leave it that way. So I was wondering what other people thought. So maybe what I'll do, I'll finish the poll we've got, so, and then I'll start a different one. So let's have a look at what the poll says. So this was in the question: do you actually look at the patch notes beyond the basics? So I'll bring up the
195 says, leave it like it is.
So when you're reading the brand new patch notes, do you, when you get to the bottom and you see the actual patch notes as opposed to the release notes, do you generally read all of these? Sometimes they're very, very long, quite boring to read, and I wondered how many people read them. So it seems, if I end the poll, that 53% reckon they do, and no 35%, which is a significant minority, and sometimes 12%, which is, again, so we add the sometimes and the no together, then we're 47%. So almost half of us don't read, and 17 votes. It's quite a representative for my streams. Almost half of us don't read these things. And so I do think that things like this that we're looking for now, albeit quite a minor thing, the idea that looking for variations in floating stone guardians is kind of the type of thing I would do. Not everybody's going to bother with looking for that kind of thing, but people wouldn't even know that that was the case. I did wonder that, whether people read them or not. So it seems like no to sometimes is quite common. About half of us do, half of us sometimes or no.
Ignition says, I don't read squat. I camp out in the start screen to start the expedition right on the dot.
Yeah.
So I can rename the creatures to funny names.
I do like being quite early on in an expedition sometimes. Just kind of laying your claim. So the question is, should we curtail this slightly? And so let me just give some possible options. If we open another poll. So should
says,
begin
are their showcase toy. HG isn't going to make them harder to get. Alphas195 says, you need to either earn at least 20 M units or do some serious hunting for parts to build your own Corvette, and at the start of a game for a new player that's not exactly easy.
But you don't.
Says, seriously, it started as a thing for a special needs friends. He was super happy, so I've been trying to do it ever since.
Right, so should beginner Corvettes be harder to obtain? Yes. Too easy to search for salvage? No. New players don't notice. Yes, but maybe only for a maybe yes, but maybe have a mission, because they could actually have more than just a thing. They could have a mission.
I'm with Alphas. You can't build unless you have 20 MN, and most new players think 1 MN is a lot of units.
Just leave it Corvettes a core. That'll do for a poll. So just to clarify, you absolutely do not need any money. If you look back at the beginning of my abandoned mode stream, the first thing I did was look for a Corvette, because I wanted my abandoned mode to be based around trying out Corvettes in abandoned mode. It was my excuse to start playing abandoned mode, because I'd never bothered before. And I did it without any money, because you don't need money. All you need to do is find a salvaged scrap planet and go looking for salvage. And then once you've got the basics, you can make it even easier by using a Corvette to help you find them. Because just like I was showing there about just maintaining current direction, you can just use that to search for more salvage, and then you can jump in your ship, shoot them. I mean, one way they could potentially curtail it is they could make it so that you can't shoot them from your ship.
To remove Corvettes from the game.
I wouldn't go that far. They're great. I mean, there's even rumours that we're going to get new types of ships in the new version of the game, so we'll be able to walk into all types of ships.
Yes, but a new player won't know all that. He'll find one part in the wild, go to the space station, can't build one, he'll forget about it. Alphas195 says. Gravnaut no. WTF.
Explain yourself, Gravnaut. I think he might be pulling your leg then. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about. That's why one of the
rules of the class challenge type class,
which we're not doing at the moment. That's why one of my options is that no new players won't notice, because, as you say, a lot of new players will just see the Corvette thing, and then they'll get to the thing and they think, oh, this is too expensive. I've got no money whatsoever.
Class. Pharaoh Euclid says. Link.
So they won't build one. And they definitely won't build like a smaller one. But if they know how the game works, they can totally and radically change the experience, because you immediately gain access to containers. You immediately gain access to growing crops if you want to get the blueprints. What else do you get? You get all the containers. You get all the crops. I need to go to build menu. That's not functional. It doesn't do anything. That's not functional. It doesn't do anything. You immediately get the nutrition unit, so you can start cooking.
Axon ignition.
You immediately get a living wall, and you immediately get all of these.
Know what a 3-part refiner is, and by the time they do, they'd be far ahead from the early game.
Yeah, it's the quickest way, absolute quickest way to get a refiner. I'm in two minds personally, because one, I really like it that when I start a new game save, if I want to kind of fast track myself, I can build one of these and I can start getting all the stuff that you don't have early on, like for instance the free slot refiner, all of the storage containers, which of course you can just say, okay, well I've got, like for instance, I could look in this and say, okay, this is, I mean it's not, it's random stuff, but I could say this is minerals, and then I could rename it to minerals here, and then I could go into my build menu and I could look along to see where it says minerals, and I could, so I could, the fishing one for instance, I could build that one instead of it and get some fishing stuff out and then go back.
Use corvettes, otherwise they are just too bulky for flight. Alphas195 says, the materials to build the corvette parts are not that commonplace. A new player will need to jump a few systems to find it.
Okay, let's have a look at the parts.
You said it right there. Corvette's a way to fast track early game for repeat players.
It's kind of like a stealth New Game Plus, I think, that people don't necessarily realise until they've built a Corvette. And so on one level I don't really mind. But on another level I feel like it makes the game a bit too easy. So I am a bit two minds about it. So let's look. We've got the nutrition unit, silver, gold, hermetic seal. That's easy. As soon as you start shooting asteroids, you can get that much. The refiner, platinum and hydraulic wiring. Okay, well the hydraulic wiring for a brand new player is going to take a little while to work out where to get it from. But, you know, they sell them in most space stations or traders, one of the two. It does take a little while for new players to work out they can go to the ship run people that own ships and trade with them. But once you've worked that out and you know that they've always got parts, then you can usually pick those up. A living wall, silver, silicate powder, carbon. That's nothing.
It only makes the game easy for repeat players. For the guy who's gonna play normal once and perma again for achievement and then only come for expeditions, nah.
Maybe. And storage, metal plating and a microprocessor. So you just go to any space station and buy a microprocessor. So I wouldn't even say that the stuff in the Corvette is actually particularly hard to get hold of. So yeah, I think on balance I personally would vote. Let me just remind myself of my questions. I think I personally would vote no, new players don't notice. But I'm kind of hedging on yes, but maybe have a mission. But maybe just put it a little bit further back. I mean, for instance, they throw missions at us all the time. I guess in a way they do throw it to us as a mission, because the first time you ever go to a salvage scrap planet, let's see if we can find one. I've actually got one in this system. No. So that's something. But I, for instance, I have noticed recently, as I say, I quite often watch new players on YouTube just playing the game. And I've noticed a couple of new players recently. They're very quickly getting to salvage scrap planets. And whereas years ago there weren't as many of them, because they massively expanded how many planets had salvage scrap. And they also took away the corruptor sentinels that defend them. So they've made it much easier to farm. It will be interesting if they do. One of the possible leaks is that they're going to swap out every single ship type. So even the starter ship will have the ability to walk into. That would be very interesting. And it's even people are even starting to think maybe we're seeing proof of that, because at the moment we don't see Twitch drops. Anything that we've got through Twitch drops, we don't get the option to claim at the moment. And that's possibly because some of them are ships and they want to change that up. So they've taken it away temporarily while they're sorting it out. That was too long, Parmental. Let's just click on it.
Parmental 1983 says, I'm of two minds about this, because I'm not much of a base builder, so I like getting a Corvette as soon as possible to fill that role.
Yeah, and you're in a similar position to me, really, because although I am a base builder, I don't... in my normal playthroughs, if I start a new save tomorrow, I'm much more likely to just build a Corvette and not build any serious bases for ages, if at all, in that save. I'll probably wait until I had a freighter and then build a utility freighter. Right, so look. See, the thing about it is you can get the main components. So all you need, I think, is a cockpit, a habitation unit, some form of landing bay, some form of landing bay, some form of landing gear, and an engine, and a reactor. I think that's everything. There might be something else, but it's not much more than that. So all you really need to do is, once you've done that, once you've scoured a planet and got all of those parts, or at least enough parts you can trade them or sell them and buy other things, then all you need to do is... I keep talking and thinking, and right, I want to go to that, and then I want to do maintain current flight path. Then all you need to do is you need to come down to a planet with your new bare bones Corvette. Look around for salvage scrap like I'm doing here. There's some. That's in an awkward spot. Shoot it. Usually you can shoot it. I think we might be at a funny angle. So let's go from the other angle. Let's just go slightly this way. And then you can get loads more parts. And then eventually you can build up whatever you want. It's not liking your thing today, Parminter.
1983 says, if they removed harvesting it with the ship, I wouldn't mind losing that.
Yes. I was going to say that, actually. That was the next thing I was going to say, is that maybe if they just stopped us shooting it with our ship, that would make it just that little bit more of a chore. Yeah, I think this is definitely slightly broken.
1983 says, I don't mind taking a stroll to collect parts.
Yeah, and neither do I. And if I was playing like this imagined New Game Plus version, then maybe. I mean, you could do it like that. I mean, how would we feel about a New Game Plus? Maybe that would be another discussion point. But just like a quick straw poll, we can talk about it in more detail another time. But how would we feel about a New Game Plus approach to the game, where when we finish and we get beyond a certain point, any new saves we make, we can select New Game Plus, and then we can not have the story. We can immediately go to purple systems. We can do all of the things that we've unlocked in the other version. We can just get in there and get our hands dirty, and that way these kinds of things would be more sensible. This is also a way of making millions. If I'm just too close to it. I mean, they could give us a special type of technology you can only unlock later on that allows us to salvage scrap. That could be a way of limiting it slightly. A bit like we only get the advanced mining laser after a little while, and we could make it a bit further than that. But I'm not suggesting they hide it behind purple systems or anything. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get that. Got it. Right, let's have a look at the poll, see what everybody thought. So, poll. I need to find a way of easily showing the poll, but I read it out. So, should beginner Corvettes be harder to obtain? No, new players don't notice, 40%. Yes, too easy to search for salvage, 20%. Yes, but maybe have mission, 20%. And just leave it, Corvettes are cool, 20%. But only 5 people voted, so we're basically talking 2 people said one, and 1 person said the other. So it's not necessarily representative. But I think that suggests that as a community, we might be in 2 minds as well. Just as I am a little bit. Okay, well, let's get back to the game. Do we like the idea of the potential leak? And I'm talking about this more openly now because other people have started talking about it in chats. They've started talking about it in videos as a potential thing that's coming in the next update. So I might as well talk about it. It's not as secret anymore, and it's completely based on nothing. Nobody knows if it's a leak or not. So take it all with a pinch of salt. But would we like it if every ship could be
Harmonton 1983 says, I haven't been following it.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't even say it was a leak as such. I would just say that some people are discussing the possibility of, and what they're saying is that ships are going to be changed. So if we, for instance, land our ship, which we've got to do anyway, I don't need to land it, because it's a Corvette. I haven't done that for so long, I just fancy doing it. So, I mean, if I call in an ordinary ship, say, for instance, a fighter. We've got a fighter. Yeah. Would we like it if the ship was just that little bit bigger and we actually had to climb into the cockpit and there was actually some kind of space in there? And more to the point, the hauler I've been using. would we like it if haulers, because they're a little... Oh, wrong one. Nah, it wasn't my hauler. I thought that was my... That's the one. Would we like it if all ships were slightly bigger, and when we called in a hauler as an example, it was similar to a Corvette in that we could open up a hatch at the back, walk into it and walk to the cockpit. We wouldn't have interiors we could change. We might be able to decorate them, but we would just have the basics. So we'd be basically making every other ship a kind of Corvette light. Would we want to see that?
Harmonton 1983 says, skydiving is one of the most fun things they've added in a while for me, tongue poking smiley.
Yes, it definitely is.
Harmonton 1983 says, like a pre-built Corvette.
Exactly. So instead of buying, I mean, these are big enough. Instead of buying this and we just have to find the cockpit and jump into it, we would have to either walk in the side or the thing, or have some kind of entrance way here, and we would have to go and get in the cockpit. And other than that, it would be mostly an ordinary ship. I mean, it would also mean, they would probably need to make them bigger, but not a lot bigger. It would also mean that that exotics would have to change a bit. I don't know how people feel about that. I know there's certain people here that really like their exotics and have already expressed a dislike for Corvettes.
Graph North says, leave exotics alone.
Precisely. It's an interesting prospect. I think I would quite like it. It would feel like a significant change to the game. But would it upset people? Or like they've got their nice ship collection. It's exactly the way they like it. It would, you know how it would happen. It would mess up things. The colours would be a bit different. The proportions might be a bit different. Ship hunters would suddenly be upset with what they've given us. I would probably be upset if some of my favourite ships were a bit messed up.
Axel Ignition says, it would upset people.
It would. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I don't necessarily take the leak, if it is a leak, that seriously, because it just seems a little bit out there. It almost feels to me as if the leak was the person who wrote the leak was writing it before Corvettes, or maybe didn't get quite the idea and didn't realise that what they actually meant was they were going to have the ability to buy pre-made Corvettes.
Custom multi-tools, now that would upset a few people too.
Yeah. I don't think we'll see that though. Oh, I just realised what we're searching for isn't on this planet. I mean, I was always the person who said...
Axel Ignition says, for the folks watching at home, yes, there is a chance that PH is the leaker.
Absolutely isn't. I really want to get out of the cockpit view. Keyboard. I can keep a secret. Nope. So it's just that one around the back there.
Axon Ignition says, on a serious note, I think these leaks are wild speculation.
Yeah, I have a tendency to think that. I did originally think the leak was quite likely because we didn't have anything else to go on. But now we've got the name Cosmos, it just doesn't feel like the leak is relevant. But you never know. Could be part of a theme space update. I mean, what I was saying, yeah, I was never really very keen on the idea of being able to build ships in the first place because I always felt like I quite like going to look for unique ships. Now, the fact that they didn't include building exotics and they didn't include all of the colour schemes. So, for instance, my favourite types of ships are different types of chromium ships, and the different types of chromium that you can build are not the same as the ones you find. And the fact that the colour schemes are a little bit different, it didn't upset me that much. It was like, okay, fair enough. I can still go ship hunting looking for unique and interesting things, and other people can build ships if they want to. It's kind of the best of both worlds. They've come up with a solution that works. But my solution always used to be, before people, when they were saying it and before they released it, my solution was always, we'll just bring out a new type of ship we can customize. And then they have done that as well. They brought out corvettes, a unique type of ship that we can build from the ground up and customize, and all sorts of other good things about them. So they could theoretically bring out another class of ship that is smaller than a corvette and bigger than an ordinary spaceship. I mean, let's face it, people love spaceships. It's part of space games is to enjoy spaceships of varieties and types. I've even heard there are games out there that make all their money selling spaceships. Oh, that's an interesting question, isn't it? What if Hello Games started selling spaceships? For instance, pre-built corvettes. So I'm not saying corvettes that you couldn't build yourself, but they pre-built them for you with cool designs. What would people feel about that? I mean, obviously, those of us that are more experienced players wouldn't bother, but some people might because, they're cool spaceships. Some people might just to support Hello Games and support the game, keep it going for longer. Would you be prepared to buy spaceship DLC? Or would you see it as pay to win? How you're winning in this game is open to interpretation. Would it be the thin end of the wedge and absolutely hate it?
Graph Nord says, another option would be the ability to clone another Corvette sitting next to you that's owned by someone else.
That could be nice. But I was thinking more along the lines of, take something like Star Citizen. Not Star Citizen. What's the other one? Star. What's this? What's the procedurally generated one where people couldn't traverse the planets? Which is much more story driven, therefore not really my type of thing, but got panned perhaps a little bit too harshly by a lot of players. Star something with the Starborn in them. Help me out, my brain's not letting me remember. The one that effectively Corvette's ripped off. The Bethesda game. See, I'm getting there. My head. I'm remembering at least who made it. Oh, nice butterflies. Almost mauve colour. With a white top. So they're just grey.
Alphys 1956.
Starfield, thank you.
Starfield.
I knew someone would come to my rescue. I don't want to upload anything because I'm just going to... That's a nice butterfly, I like that. It's very simple, but I'm a fan of the butterflies. You may have noticed. Right, so this planet, it's a very sparse planet. It's got some nice butterflies though. I will give the glyphs before we start hunting. Yeah, so in Star Citizen, one of the ways that they monetize the game is that mods are paid and the company takes a cut. So imagine they actually allowed a similar thing for Corvettes. So some of the better Corvette builders could build some ships and sell it in a marketplace. And players could then buy those really cool Corvettes and Hello Games would take a cut. What would we think of something like that? And I mean buy with real money. And again, I don't think Hello Games would even dream. Oh, look at how many bones there are here. I don't think Hello Games would even dream of doing such a thing.
Lord says, copyright issues.
True, perhaps. So we're back to the first type by the look of it, with that block on the right-hand side. So maybe there's only 2 variations, which is why they hid it away in the patch notes. Not as effective against this. Whoa, I didn't notice there were 2. Let's get the neutron cannon out. Maybe copyright issues, I'm not I mean, they could vet whichever ones were allowed in the store. I mean, they wouldn't want to allow people to build huge ones um, that broke the game for other people, for instance. Again, I mean, it's kind of speculative, really. I don't think they would ever do such a thing. What they will be doing is opening a new merch store. Anybody seen the new merch? Because it was leaked by that bomber boy. Maybe I'll pull up his Twitter if people are interested. Give us a thumbs up if you want to see the leaked merch. I don't think it's everything, but it was everything he was able to find on the website before they took it down so that people couldn't see it. One, two, three, four. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No moons, but I'll do. 5 will do. I mean, I feel like merch is a very functional way of earning extra money from a game. However, I don't think it's particularly profitable. Ancient bones. I feel like if the very next one is just exactly the same as one of those other two, I feel like there's just 2 types.
Pharaoh Hafukid says, remember to like, subscribe, comment or most importantly chat.
Now this is just a sad looking marsh world, but if you like sad looking marsh worlds, it's certainly got lots of bones if you want to finish your bone collection. But this is there. That's the wrong noise, I think. That's the sentinel noise. They should give it a different noise. A lot of ships just landing. Right, that didn't give me a floating one, so I need another one. That's not my ship. It's got some quite nice dinosaurs. You don't often see the horns on that type of dinosaur. There might be some Yoda huts hidden away on this marsh planet, I guess. Not seeing many bones. It's almost hard to believe. Oh, there's some. I was about to say it's almost hard to believe there are any here. A ship. No. Right, I saw a ship out of the corner of my eye. Oh, this is going to be in a cave by the look of it. You don't always spawn in caves. My bet is we won't see it here. Oh, they're right up the top. They've at least fixed that. That was a bug at one point. If they were in a cave, they wouldn't spawn at all. Got a lot of knockback when they hit you. Right, so this looks like it's the same as the very first one we saw as well. If there are variations that we're missing, they're very small variations. So we're nearly at 2.5 hours of searching for variants with about half an hour maybe of chatting. So I think I'm going to just do a couple more. I don't want to do too many more. And I think we can probably assume, unless we find something in those two, that the variations are quite small. And the reasons they hid it away in the patch notes is because there's only a couple of variants, or the variations themselves are not that noticeable. One, two, three. Let's see if we can finish off with a couple of sixes. Let's get above it. 1, 2, 3. No moons. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. No moons. That'll do though. Taking a while to find a 6. We'll go for a 5. Use the freighter scanner. It's fastest when we've got this many planets. Salvageable scrap. Nothing else. Again, I don't want to use my freighter because it's broken a bit. Just hit that before the pirates attacked. One, two, three. Yeah, this has got plenty. Oh, I never talked about the size of planets. I'll have to do that next time. Maybe prepare a few graphics about it so we can compare things. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Salvageable scrap, ancient bones, so just that one. Verdant. Can be nice planets. Let's see what the weather's like. red skies, not everybody's taste. I quite like them. Floating flowers. Other types of flowers. A very flower focused planet. So let's get the glyphs. Maybe I have that slightly long, but I think it's worth it being a little while so people can find it when they scrub through the video. Not seeing any. Ah, there's one. Yeah, that's... Whoa, 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 whoa. Looks very similar to the first one we saw. Yeah, actually, maybe that's slightly different shoulder. Yeah, that is slightly different. So we've found another potential variant. I'm not sure if... Let me take a picture. It might be the same as the very first one we saw, but it just looks slightly different. So I think maybe the differences are just very, very subtle, but maybe it's the same. Hang on, I'm just going to very quickly look myself at the screenshots. No, it's the same as the first one we saw. Starting to see things that aren't there. Whoa! On the edge of a cliff is not the best place to be fighting these things. Got one gone. No, it hasn't gone. There it is. It must have gone down the bottom of the cliff. I'm certainly getting a lot of polished stone out of this. Is that another one? Oh no, it's just a glowing flower. Right, so one more system. I think we're coming to a conclusion here that really there's only a couple of variants. Let's go with a maximum of my jump range for this ship. It's only 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. If we get a different variant at this stage, then that will throw everything out of whack, because it's like, why has it taken this long to see one of the variants? Maybe there's just a very rare one, you never know. No, 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 yes. Icebound, but quite colourful icebound planet by the look of it. A lot of sea. Sunny side. Notice they have the freighters with the circular front. A lot of people like. Let's see if I can spot one again. Sure if any of them are boardable. Yes, that one's boardable. So there you go. There's some system freighter that's often people quite like. You always recolor it. Can be hard to find if you're looking for them. Get the glyphs to the planet as we land, but obviously if you want that particular style of system freighter, you come to this planet and take off. Another quite sparse frozen planet. Thinking to myself, I always say I'm never going to claim any of these things. What would I do if I came across a greater mushroom beetle? I think I would at least claim it. Now there's another variant. After all that, I mean, maybe it's a rarer variant. But it's got this circular hood on it, or halo, slightly offset as well. So we've seen 3 distinct types. This one doesn't have the mossy shoulder. Doesn't have anything on this shoulder at all. It just has something above its head.
Says, third actual variant.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Well, maybe I'll keep an eye out in my own play for other variants. But we've catalogued 3 now. At least. I mean, there might be some tiny variations that I missed, but maybe worth keeping an eye out for others. I mean, we've seen at least 7 or 8, haven't we?
Alphas195 says, given the amount of searching you had to do, it's by and large pretty well spread out.
Does seem that way. I mean, it did go a long way, so maybe it's related to... oh, very nice butterflies here. I mean, glyphs are already given, but... well, they're at the bottom of the screen there. They're lovely. Golden. These are very similar to the ones on my butterfly pagoda planet that I always wanted to move to somewhere different. Almost tempted to move it here. But there's not many butterflies being spawning. If I scan them but don't claim them, I could at least find out if they're rare. Oh, there's some more. I might come back to this, but I'll give people the chance to claim stuff, but if they want to. But if I come back here in a week or so and nobody's claimed this planet, then I will claim it myself and move my pagoda here, because these are exactly the type of butterflies that pagoda was built for. If anything, slightly nicer. Nice little bonus at the end of the stream, for at least for me and other butterfly hunters. I don't know how many other butterfly hunters are out there in this game, but I am one of them. Okay, so what have we learned? We have learned that there are varieties. There are at least 3 different varieties. I could possibly pull them up on my screen. Oh, that's come out too big. So there's this one, which has the, as you can see, on one shoulder it's got like a darker block, and on the left shoulder it's got the green mossiness. Then we have, let's change that again, properties, browse. Then there's the, oh, that's not the one. Should be a spiky shoulder variant. There it is. Then we have this spiky shoulder variant. So it's got the crystals growing out of its shoulder. And then we have browse. And then we have this variant with the halo arch thing behind. And that's all we've found so far. But it's possible you have to search wider across a. See, that's changing again. It's possible you have to search wider across a larger expanse of the galaxy to see variations. I don't know. Certainly, this one only cropped up when I actually took a very long jump. So maybe I will do some experimenting in the background, and if I find there are more variants, maybe we'll look again at another time. But until then, I've been Pharaoh. Travel well, and goodbye for now. Oh, and thanks for the discussion.